So let's talk about the Crowder thing, because this is the only Crowder update I have not yet even discussed with our dear audience members. It turns out that the New York Post, which is a conservative media
It's
group,
a
right?
right-wing rag for sure. I mean, look, scroll down and you'll see their attitude. If you want to look to the right side there and get like immediately zapped in the brain with what
Jim
kind of
Jordan
fucking
demands to know why
newspaper.
protesters outside conservative Supreme Court Justice homes were not arrested. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Jim Jordan saying anything reasonable is impossible.
Pregnant passenger who clearly
What the
smelled like
fuck is this?
alcohol absolutely pummels airline worker. Adams rips AOC for rush to conclude chokehold subway passenger was murdered.
So
Like-
the point is, I guess, in a sense, that his own people are turning against him because they're the ones that broke this story. They interviewed a bunch of ex-staffers, and there's some really interesting revelations here. I'll read it. A bombshell ring video last week of influential conservative, yada yada. We know, fucking watch it, do wifey things, etc. Numerous former employees of the Provocateur. They're really calling him a provocateur? Isn't that what they like? Isn't that like a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid thing to call them. Better than like activists. I hate when like newspapers be like, "This is a right wing activist." I'm like, bro, that's a terrorist, dog.
So let me ask you this: is provocateur not a derogatory word in their eyes?
I don't know. I mean, I call myself a provocateur from time to time. It just means like prankster in the shittiest terms.
Yeah. Our provocateur, in my opinion, is like someone who disingenuously just says shit to provoke controversy.
Sometimes.
Okay.
But you can be an agent provocateur on the left or the right, really.
So they allege his former employees, all types of unhinged tirades were commonplace inside the Louder with Crowder office. I'm not shocked, but it was pathetic what he did to Hillary. His wife's name is Hillary?
Yeah, it's like weird. Every time I see that, I think Hill Dog.
Lock her up, bro.
Yeah.
There's something to unpack there. I'm just saying, of all the women in the world, you had to marry a Hillary?
I do. Every time I see that, I think it's
Cedar
weird.
Rapids.
It's not good.
A former employee told the Post that might not be the Steven you see on the show, but that was the real Steven. I love that. It's like, no, the guy we see on the show is a fucking monster.
That's my favorite from all of these leaks that have been like, guys, you know, the guy you know and love is like a really funny guy. You know, who could forget his best hits like reenacting George Floyd's execution, Gone Sexual. You know what I mean? Like that guy, he's not a monster. I mean, he's not a monster on camera, but he certainly is behind closed doors.
You would never expect that this guy was rude.
Yeah, I'm so shocked to find out.
His on-camera persona is so sweet and lovely. You would never expect it.
Yeah.
This Post spoke to 10 former employees. That is a whole expose, who claim Crowder ran an abusive company where he often screamed at his employees, including his own father. I love that. For some reason, I just love him screaming at his dad in front of other employees.
Yeah, I thought his dad kind of sunned him regularly. Turns out it's not the case. I got the vibes that his dad like basically controls him, but I guess his dad is, you know, the rear guard. His dad does defense for him in general, but he gets berated by Steven too.
I see something developing. Obviously, Crowder has daddy issues. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the way he is. And he's a psychopath. I believe that he brought his dad in the fold now, I can see, because he has the power. And he can now exert control and punishment on his dad in front of other people because his dad's a fucking loser and probably doesn't have better prospects either of a job.
Watch it.
You know? So there's a whole psychological cascade happening here. Yeah, but he abused his own dad, exposed his genitals, sent out directives to arbitrarily fire people, and made underlings wash his dirty laundry. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a movie, my God.
There's so much more.
I want to read the whole thing. You want?
Yeah, 100%. Former staffers worked at the show at different times from its inception in 2016 through 2022. A lot of them left the company voluntarily, but they requested anonymity because they had NDAs, which is pretty classic. But then Dave Landau, remember?
Leprechaun.
Yeah, his second in command, the Peanut Gallery's very own Dave Landau, he went on like some fucking other right-wing dickheads show and just kind of blasted Steven Crowder during this process, like while everyone was, you know, hyper-focusing on the Hillary stuff, the Hillary Crowder stuff. And his former co-host called him a bully. They also I mean, they are like abuse victims. It's like it's still hard to empathize with them though, because like it's kind of like that Abby Grossberg lady who like went to work at Fox News and was like, the things that they were saying behind closed doors are shocking. I'm like, you were the booker for Tucker Carlson. Like,
I do feel bad for his wife because they've been together for like 10, married for 10, together for 15.
His wife is different. I'm talking about the employees who.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like the employees saw Steven Crowder, and they openly admitted here too. They're like
doughy-eyed fans.
Yeah, we were doughy-eyed fans who wanted to like work with this guy that we love, and then we found out that he's like very different behind the camera. It's like, what was your expectation? That he was going to be like a fucking socialist behind closed doors, but like he's just LARPing as this like right-wing demon?
I'm very proud to announce today this really progressive profit-sharing plan that I've shared with all my employees.
Yeah, you get to...
No, take my... Hey, check out my dick. Now go wash my laundry.
Yeah, literally. Dave. Why do these guys think that like right-wing guys are going to be better bosses than like left-wing people?
We don't want...
Content is like shitting on workers' rights, you fucking idiots. Of course he's going to show you his cock. Like, he's in the closet. He loves showing men his cock.
Well,
okay? That's the only time he could just be like, oh my God, it's a joke. Haha. Check out my cock. It'd be real funny if you like sucked it a little bit, right? It'd be crazy.
Well, we joke about him being closeted, but there was actually reference to this article about him bullying a gay too. Not so gay.
Not gay Jared. Yeah. He put his fucking... Okay, well, we can continue with this. Because that's the lead, which we'll be getting to. So they said, we don't want Steven to suffer. We just want the abuse to stop. Or at least let future employees know what they're getting themselves into, said one former employee. The Post reached out to Crowder and his lawyer, as well as daughter of Crowder CEO Gerald Morgan, multiple times about the allegations brought forth by former employees, but did not receive a response. Not shocking. Steven did give a response, however, which we will get to, I'm sure, in a little bit after we're done with this article. The 35-year-old American-Canadian right-wing content creator who bills himself as a devout Christian was a child actor. Started doing stand-up at 17. And in 2009, he was a Fox News contributor writing essays in defense of abstinence. In 2014, he started doing a weekly podcast broadcast by a conservative radio station in Michigan and gained a larger following. During the time when he was on Fox News, he actually appeared alongside Greg Gutfeld quite frequently. Greg Gutfeld actually personally sent Vic Berger DMs about how he hated, how everyone fucking hated Steven Crowder at Fox News.
Even as a child.
Not as a child, but at that point, he was like a young, up-and-coming conservative commentator.
Wait, can we pull those up? Because I've heard of those.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
He said Greg Crowder is like boring as fuck, really annoying, and also definitely closeted.
Wow,
that's what Greg Gutfeld was saying about him.
I love that about
him. Just someone who is literally a left-wing person. Like, he was just openly saying, he's like, I don't give a shit, fuck him.
This is the gut, by the way. You guys probably... I can't get over that it looks like Garfield. This is his real fucking poster.
Dude, that's the king of late night, baby.
This is the gut. Hold on.
The gut.
The gut. Hey, I'm just saying it like it is. I'm the gut.
I've never seen someone like I've never seen someone who's like so routinely despised by his co-host. Like his daytime show, I watch it from time to time. It's like, what is it? The Five, I think it's called, where he's like one of the hosts, and he sits across from like Jesse Waters, and then they have him. They have the one person who's supposed to be defending progressive values. Sometimes it's my favorite mustachioed legend. What's his name? Who's the guy who has a mustache at Fox News? The big one?
Geraldo. Oh, Geraldo, yeah.
Geraldo. Sexy ass Geraldo is sometimes the one defending like the progressive position. But everyone fucking hates Greg Gutfeld. Anytime he opens his mouth, you can see like people going, ugh. Especially the female co-hosts. They go,
hey, he just says it like it is. Hey, listen.
That guy hates Steven Crowder.
This is the face you make to a woman who just realizes the drink she consumed is drugged.
Oh my God!
Look at that. Now you see it, don't you?
I am staying out of that. Allegedly.
No, I didn't say he did that.
I'm just saying he just
don't you see
gross.
it? He's like, got you.
I think he's just so smarmy. That's what I like. I look at that and I think like smarmy little shit. He's just like, yeah, that's right. I wore my running shoes under my suit today. He's so
Did you guys find those Vic DMs? Yeah, I haven't visited these in a while, but now this is very relevant. Before I wasn't even sure. I was like, this can't be real, can it? But it's got to be real.
Why were you unsure that it wasn't? I was
It's
never
just so odd.
There was never a moment where I was like, oh, I wonder. There's got to be. These guys are probably coming after Steven Crowder for no reason. No, I was like, no, I'm very sure. This seems like exactly who he presents himself as on camera.
So here's the gut talking to Vic Berger, great guy. Vic is. His musical thing was so painful I wanted to cry for his family. And he's in love with his body. Well, he did get an elective surgery to...
yeah, I mean, he works out a lot, which, as I like to point out, as someone who also works out a lot, very gay, okay? Just going to come out and say it. Josh Hawley, Steven Crowder, I don't know, man. I don't know. You don't get pectorals like that without, like, being...
That's for the boys.
Being in love with the male form a little bit too much.
Right. Gutfeld says, methinks he's got an issue with his sexuality, which is fine. But it's so obvious to everyone but him, which is usually the truth. Yes, he's always like a Chippendale, and he was only at FNC, Fox News Channel, for like 6 months. We all hated him.
Yeah.
And he acts like he was a badass who left Fox. No, none of us could stand him. Okay, Gut. It's kind of funny that there's like a grown-ass man.
I forget what he said, which would be cool if it wasn't him. He wants to be a star and hates everyone who took that risk, and he didn't. He calls himself a comedian but doesn't perform. That's how the Schumer thing started. I would not let him call himself a comedian on my show, and Amy knew that. I hated him for saying he performs. This is talking about the old clip I'm sure you've seen of Amy Schumer just absolutely fucking eviscerating Steven Crowder. Yeah. Like, I'm not a big Amy Schumer fan by any means, but like, she very thoroughly handles Steven Crowder. And that is actually the moment where you recognize like, oh, that's like a stand-up comic. Even one that maybe later on in her career is not as funny, but like that's the difference between a real stand-up comic and like, 3 people on a fucking Fox News show. No, he wouldn't. He has issues. I met him at a bar once, and he sat Indian style on the floor in the middle of a crowded bar.
What?
He also, no joke, ordered milk. Oh, yeah, this is the part.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He's sitting crisscross in a bar drinking milk. I'd leave. Even if I didn't know him, I'd see that and I'd
some Homelander shit.
I'd find a new bar.
Yeah, titty milk, straight from the titty.
And there's still time for Crowder to grow up when he finally comes out and marries his personal trainer. Oh my God, Gut.
Ooh, Gut. That's the funniest he's ever been, dude.
Gut. I gotta say, the context of this is quite interesting because it's like a 50-year-old dude shitting on like a 20-year-old. But they're both scumbags.
The Gut. Yeah, he came for the Gut. I don't give a fuck. It's funny because he's like privately shitting on Steven Crowder years after the fact, by the way, a couple of years after the fact, after he left Fox News. He's shitting on Steven Crowder to Vic Berger, if I'm not mistaken.
Why? Yeah, that's what I don't understand.
He's literally like, Vic Berger is a very funny editor, friend of the show. Definitely not like a right-wing guy at all.
He works with Tim Heidecker a lot, so he's a lefty. Yeah. He's a lib.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. In November 2016, Crowder moved to Texas, hired a small team, and turned Louder with Crowder into a full production arm, creating comedic sketches, that's generous, a podcast, and his popular Change My Mind videos. Crowder, who has 1.3 million Instagram followers and 6 million on YouTube, became widely influential amongst conservatives who were dazzled by his brash contrarian takes. Bitch, if you were dazzled by him.
That's how you know New York Post is fucking right-wing as shit.
Who the fuck wrote dazzled?
The one black accent that he does, oh, it's my favorite. I'm dazzled by that.
He's
from Barack Obama to Morgan Freeman. It's always the same like 90s insult comic, Def Jam comic voice that he puts on. It's great.
I'll tell you what. The only time Steven dazzles is when he wears his rhinestone Speedo thong in the mirror and jerks off to himself.
Yeah.
They were dazzled by his brash contrarian takes, irreverent approach, and crusades against big tech.
Yeah, I can't get over this. The funniest part about this story is like, this is a fallen deity approach to the situation where it's like, no, man, he's just doing more of the same shit that you like him for. You just don't like it when it's happening in the real world and not being communicated to you through the lens of like a YouTube show or a fucking funny prank. Like, how many times has Steven Crowder talked about women? How many times has he talked about fucking feminism? How many times has he talked about divorce court in this regard? You think it's all funny. You think it's all great. You think he's making great points. But when you see him act out those exact same points of commentary in his real life against his incredibly pregnant wife, like barefoot and pregnant, 8 months pregnant, literally when he's like doing a Change My Mind episode with his wife on the fucking Ring camera while he's like blowing cigar smoke in her face. Yeah, all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, this guy's an asshole? Yeah, no shit, he was always an asshole. You're a fucking asshole too if you like his shit. That's how this works.
I mean, yeah, 100%. He's going, you need to do your wifey duties. It's like, that's what he says on his show, guys.
Yeah. Like this is the thing.
This is Gilead, my friends. This is what y'all wanted.
This is the thing I don't understand. It's like very shocking to me when people are just like, wow.
Well,
Dr. Carlson in private was saying that like whites are superior. What?
That's what I was going to bring that up too. They say now Fox is alleging that the reason they fired Tucker.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. This is a hearty, meaty part.
Okay.
I just wanted to. I wasn't like trying to segue it.
People thought he was but it is relevant. I mean, Tucker. Fox has been sharing these texts that they got, and just in short, he said something about like white people would never behave like that about, I don't know if they were black people or what, who were getting in a fight. And we're like, but everyone's kind of confused because he says like that racist or more racist shit on his show.
Yeah, no, they were like, wow, you're not allowed to. Maybe they fired him because they were like, you're not allowed to let out good gems like this in private, buddy. Keep it to the fucking public. Yeah, how dare you? That's a fire line. And the fact that you just like gave that up willingly in private and you didn't communicate that in public on the prime time.
It does kind of shock me to see him talking like that, only because it's so openly racist and like, bro, we'll get to that. So continuing, people thought he was funny, and he could be, especially if you were watching from the outside, said an early staffer. But inside the Dallas-based Crowder universe, many said he was like a yo-yo, charismatic and kind at times. A volatile Crowder could also be controlling and capable of working every angle of your emotions. With long hours, unrealistic expectations, and emotional outbursts, he often burned through staffers, many of whom were young, starry-eyed fans who had never worked in traditional media and relocated to Texas for the opportunity to work with their hero. They deserve it.
This is literally similar to the fucking like Ali Alexander groom me for dick pics conversation where the fucking groypers are like, yeah, we're Nazis, but like, you know, we don't want to do the gay pedophilia Nazi stuff. We want to do it on our own volition. Like you're really violating the integrity of the Nazi movement, but with your grooming, sir. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And while the louder with Crowder ethos was politically incorrect, his antics crossed the line. No. He was known to expose his genitals to staffers, many ex-employees told the Post. I love that idea. It's like the new staffers arrive. He's just standing there with his dick out. Hi, nice to meet you, Stephen Crowder.
Single file line, just like, here, you know, take a look. Take a good look.
It still is, I have to say, I knew he was a piece of shit, but the exposing his genital things did take me by surprise a little bit.
Not me.
I didn't see that. Like, still, you're the boss. You're in a workplace. I mean, this is so juvenile, besides being like sex criminal-ish.
I like that they also very clearly specify that this was outside of the context of an actual video that they were shooting.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for why that is important, we will reveal in a little bit. But stupid, 6 sources, they said that they witnessed lewd behavior firsthand. A former staffer recalled driving back from Illinois in a van after a college show in March 2018 when a former producer, Jared Monroe, whom Crowder dubbed Not Gay Jared, was targeted. He was gay, by the way.
Bro, you can't say
Jared was
that
asleep in the last row. Steven was in front, and he was joking about what he was going to do, the staffer recalled. He climbed over and dropped his drunk on top of Jared's shoulder.
Dude, that's nuts.
That same person also... Yeah, it is nuts.
But that's crazy.
Same person also claimed Crowder exposed himself to Jared in 2017 while they were in the green screen room filming a parody of Ghost. When asked about both allegations, Monroe told the Post, no comment. And during a 2018 flight with 6 people from the company, another former employee said they witnessed Crowder put his testicles on an assistant and a childhood friend, John Goodman.
On the plane?
Not the John Goodman, who shook off the incident. Goodman, who still works for Crowder, did not return the Post request for comment. I guess they were on a private jet.
God,
like you're not whipping it out on a fucking, on economy, right?
He's so rich. It makes me want to fucking shit and puke.
Yeah. A 4th ex-employee said Crowder exposed himself to former co-host Dave Landau.
The Leprechaun.
At the conference table with others present. Landau did not respond to the Post request for comment. It was childish, but when I found out this was something he did, at first, I took it as him trying to be friendly or one of the guys.
Hey, he's being friendly.
Now I see it was a power play, the witness said.
Hey, buddy, here, give me your shoulder. I want to put my dick and balls on it.
How fucking twisted is your worldview where you're like, oh, he's just taking his cock out to be like one of the guys. Are you guys taking your cocks out? He's your fucking boss, man.
I mean, look, when you're teenagers, this is like forgivable antics. But this is a 35-year-old man
full-grown adult
in a workplace where he's the boss, the owner, and here's a guy who he's bullying for being gay, and then he targets the gay guy to put his junk on him while he's sleeping. That's jail. That's jail shit.
Yeah. No, it's sexual harassment in the workplace, which is
What's worse than that? He put his fucking genitals on the man.
Sexual assault.
Yeah, that's assault.
Sorry.
I mean, come on. Hey, you liked it. He's gay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a prank, dude. It's like, oops, how did his dick slip in my mouth? You know what I mean? Just
doesn't work either.
It's a prank, bro.
If your manager at Red Lobster did this, it would be national news.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this happens at Red Lobster.
I mean, yeah.
Don't worry about Red Lobster.
Numerous sources noted these incidents were not a part of any sketches, which of many could be bawdy and off color. But Crowder, sources said, is often known for blurring the lines of professionalism. Numerous former employees said this production assistants wash laundry in the office, including Crowder's dirty personal items. Many describe Crowder not as a tough boss, but an unreasonable micromanager who would send out unrealistic assignments after hours and set people up for failure. It was like a cult where you were all in, said one ex-employee, adding that Crowder did not want you having a life outside of it. In 2017, he commissioned his small team to create a 30-minute Christmas Carol parody on top of their regular workload. A few ex-employees, none of whom were paid overtime, said they logged over 100 hours in the week leading up to the release of the special and slept in the office, according to multiple sources. 2 points of contention here that are really fucking funny to me. One, you're making dog shit. Like you're basically losing out on important years of your life to make a Christmas Carol parody for Steven Crowder. Where like, what is it? Are they
pull it up
gayifying Christmas or something? Is it a War on Christmas parody? Who knows? But
here it is. Mug Club presents.
Is this from 2017?
I don't know if this is going to claimable audio. Oh, fuck. This guy actually made a 30-minute reenactment.
Bro, he is 100% a theater kid.
This is nuts, dude. YouTube How many views does this have? Do his fans like this shit?
Oh, my God. I did the Christmas Carol.
No, nobody watches it. 300,000.
I did the Christmas Carol for Cutie Cinderella. And I had to wear that same exact thing.
Blair White.
Wait, Blair White? What the fuck?
He goes, Steven, show me your penis and put it on me. I'm the ghost of gayness past. I'm the ghost of your closeted sexuality, Steven. Show me your cock. This is insane. This is actually so insane that he made this.
Wow.
Let me see how hard he's acting. Play.
Merry Christmas, everyone! Oh, merciful heavens. I will make things right. I shall make amends. All three spirits of you two.
It's embarrassing.
I say it on my knees, O soothing majesty. On my knees. Oh, heavens. I hope I haven't missed it. You there, fine fellow. What day's today?
Who, me?
What day
oh my God.
is today?
You don't know what day it is.
What's that?
It's Christmas Day, pal.
It's Christmas Day.
Is it Gavin? Is that
Yes.
Gavin McGinnis?
Yes. Yes.
God, he's so ugly. Damn, we
What
got
a nightmare.
all the best guys
Yeah.
for this one.
That's a nightmare. Y'all.
There's another guy who likes putting things in his ass on camera in front of his employees.
Yo, these people spent the best years of their lives to edit that. I think that is sad.
That's great. You know, right leading up to Christmas, instead of hanging out with your fucking friends and family.
And he's a Christian. He knows how important.
Yeah,
it is.
you're in the studio whipping that shit up for what? How many people watch it? 300K?
Yep.
Nice, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking loser. Okay. You're a fucking loser. Get better.
In
all the former employees of Steven Crowder, the Steven Crowder universe, you fucked up. It's okay. You have the capacity to change. But just remember that, like, in that very moment, you were a fucking stupid little loser because of your psychotic right-wing perspective, that is the manifestation of all of the right-wing ideology that you were peddling. Okay?
Although I'll say this, in a sense, Crowder is doing a service to society because you have these right-wingers coming in and then leaving radicalized leftists.
I don't know if they probably
They come in talking about unions and workers' rights and, oh, he can't put his dick on me. I mean, in the midst of this project, Crowder sent a group text messaging telling them to sleep in, but then come into the office a bit later. One employee remarked, sleep lol. In response, Crowder shot back, be a little grateful, buddy.
I don't get that. Like, what
that you have a job that you,
yeah.
You know, look at these two pieces of shit. This is all your fault. When I see him, you did this. Whatever you did, like, you did this.
Yeah, the left-wing equivalent of this would be like, yeah, the workplace is crazy. Like, you know, they engage in profit sharing. It's totally fine if you're, like, gay. They, like, allow that. Really fucked up what's happening in these left-wing spaces. You can set your own times. You know, it's really messed up. Perfectly allowed to, like, not show up to work if you have, like, a family emergency. The exchange seen by the Post angered the team, who turned it into an oft-repeated joke where they felt undervalued or overworked. And when shows or projects fell short of his expectations, Crowder piled the blame on his staffers. Oh, shocking. Who would have thought? We'd tell him things wouldn't work, said one ex-staffer who recalls a massive live show in 2018 not going as Crowder had planned. I thought surely Stephen, who micromanaged the whole thing, is going to take some responsibility here, they continued. Of course he didn't. Instead, Crowder put the onus on his staff. His assistant handed each employee a copy of Jocko Willnick's leadership and performance book, Extreme Ownership, How a U.S. Navy SEALs Lead
insane.
and Win.
That is, I mean, this is the vision of a twisted, psychotic, narcissistic freak.
If I'm going to the racism factory and punching in every morning, I'm expecting this to happen, by the way. We all thought we were going to get an apology, but we got a book. It was like a sitcom the former staffer cracked. No, it is like a meme because it's like how you would perceive a right-wing workplace to act out like. The only thing missing from this is like child labor, honestly. Like that's literally the only marker that he hasn't hit. He has the sexual harassment, sexual assault in the workplace, micromanaging, being
homophobia,
like this, awful times, not getting paid well, and then last but not least, you need to hit the child labor button, and then you're good. You've hit the full Monty. Back in late 2020, while on a tear, Crowder sent out a directive to arbitrarily fire someone. Don't care who, read the Discord message viewed by the Post. The source said Crowder often dropped threats to fire people in the company's Discord chat room. His irrational outbursts even extended to his father, Darren, who works as his booker. Numerous ex-staffers. You know Darren.
I know Darren.
Yeah, we work
you're
with
a fan
Darren.
of Darren.
I've had a lot of back
Darren.
and forth with Darren.
Numerous ex-staffers said he'd lash out at his dad in front of other employees. Darren, who still works with his son, did not respond to the Post request for comment. Let's go down.
But by the way, I love this. He goes, fire someone. I don't care who.
Yeah, he thinks he's Pablo Escobar.
Dude, you are so psychotic. Such a loser-ass bitch, dude. He did it regularly. And it's usually about failing to book someone he wanted on the show. Steven would say, I'm supposed to get stars.
He didn't say like that. He said, like, I'm supposed to get stars.
I'm supposed to get stars.
Change my mind. The guests you're booking are bad. Change my mind.
Either.
That doesn't work for me either.
That doesn't work either.
You know what I didn't think of until now? It really after we did the Sam Cedar thing with him, can you imagine the fucking just rage unloaded on his dad?
You probably inadvertently led
yeah,
to
because his dad set that all up. So.
You probably inadvertently led to like workplace harassment.
4 days. That video recording happened 4 days after we Sam Ceder'd him.
Oh, dude.
There's the whole timeline. Have you seen it?
Okay, first
Pull
of all.
Pull up the timeline.
Dude!
Sam Cedar laid it all out on his show.
Led to his divorce, dude.
I take full credit.
You divorced him.
I think so. I genuinely do.
You took his hairline.
We bottled him up. We bottled him up so tight, I think he just exploded.
He's like, just handle the toxic pills. Damn it, Hillary.
What was the gloves about? Was it a suppository? I was wondering, like, what is this toxic medicine that she needs gloves on to administer? Was she putting it up the dog's ass?
No. That makes sense. Like, so for example, Rogaine is like very toxic to animals.
Oh.
But it can be toxic to pregnant women too. Like, so there are a lot of pills that could technically be toxic. You could have an allergy towards that specific, a specific medicine in there that like you don't want to touch for obvious reasons, because like you touch it and then you touch your mouth or something, you don't wash it off perfectly.
It's almost like he wanted her to have a miscarriage.
you will have, it could lead to complications. So I think that's what she was trying to communicate to Steven Crowder. But Steven is an incredible debater, you know what I mean?
He goes, sniff it. I don't give a fuck. You're putting that medicine up the dog's ass. Here's the timeline presented by Sam Cedar.
Is that this guy doesn't even attend his kid's birth. But you recall, Emma, right? Like when he bagged out of the first sort of time that that Ethan had invited us on to the stream for that sort of like surprise debate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He told Ethan that the reason why he was canceling, which we ultimately knew because the real reason was because he saw that we were not on air, that we had a call.
By the way, 100% true. His dad wrote Dan. In fact, you probably still have the email.
Yeah.
There's an emergency with Steven's wife and the twins, and they had to rush to the hospital. He literally lied about his wife and twins being sick. Is that despicable or what?
And we know he don't give a fuck
because you would never
his wife or twins being sick.
You would never question that. You're like, who would fucking lie about that? But he did.
Hey, Dan, Steven had to run to the dock with his very pregnant wife with twins, who's having some issues this morning. He's not going to make it to the studio time. Not going to happen today. So sorry.
Yeah, well, anyway, they lied about it. But if she was having a problem, it's probably because Steven punched her in the stomach.
Watch it.
Sorry.
No, they were having problems because Steven made her take the toxic dog cancer.
Sorry,
like you have to try it first. That doesn't work for me either.
Sorry, Steven's very pregnant wife has been huffing toxic fumes all day.
Steven has been blowing cigar smoke in her face for the past 8 months to,
Oh my God.
to see what will happen.
Yeah. So anyway, here
we had ended our show early, but he told Ethan he was there because his wife was pregnant with twins, and there was like a little bit of like a scare associated with it, and he had to rush to the hospital, which of course was a total lie.
Yeah.
But to use her pregnancy and those twins to lie to get out of like a potential debate with me, and then not even go to the birth,
and then not be taking it seriously. It's one thing if you were like, it's one thing.
Yeah, you know what's an emergency? Birth, childbirth. That's a real emergency.
He didn't go.
He was like, no, I'm going to get the elective surgery right as the birth is happening.
Sorry, honey, I need my titties to look masculine.
My friend Felix Biederman had a really good take on this, but he said like, true alpha dad moment where Steven Crowder is the type of dude who like wants the attention on himself, so he literally did the elective surgery
100%.
to take the attention away from his children.
100%. It made him the person who needed to be taken care of.
Because like, remember, everyone was like, "Oh my God, we wish him well." Like nobody was even like celebrating the fucking birth of his children.
Yeah,
everyone was just like, "Oh man, we wish him well. I hope he's like doing great with the surgery. I hope he doesn't die," because like he got the elective surgery and then like a week later.
Oh, and he
like,
lied about that. He had like heart failure. He made people.
No, I think what happened is
heart failure.
So he got the elective surgery, which everyone says like is elective. It is, but like it's understandable to get it. For the record, I have a lot of friends with chest pussies, as we call it. Yeah, chussy. When you have a indented chest.
I know what you're talking about.
Ludwig has one. Ali has one.
It seems that some people it's required, depending on if it's.
No, I don't think it was required for Steven Crowder either, but like people will sometimes go and get that where they put like they basically blow out your chest.
It's actually sounds super invasive, quite serious surgery to do that.
Yeah. So, he went and he got that, and then the surgery went fine, and I think a week later he actually started developing complications of the surgery. I think
his lungs
collapsed. His lungs collapsed.
Or one of them collapsed. But it's fantastic 100% he did it too, so that he could continue to be the victim and the person that people had to dote over and care about, completely stealing any moment from his wife and his children. Quite psychotic.
About it and then just deployed it as an excuse, but to be like, I'm gonna schedule elective surgery and hey, walk the dog while you're at it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. There are plenty of people who aren't even together when they when their children are born, and they still show up to the birth. Like, I mean,
of course,
you have to be a specific type of scumbag. But here's the timeline, just really quickly.
Okay, here.
The Crowder thing happened on June 21st, 2021. That video.
H3 Crowder thing.
Yes. Sorry, I should be specific. When Sam humiliated him, the ring video was
Ethan
taken.
did too.
It's okay. You can
You can take the dub, Sam.
yeah, it's
it's
fine,
all good.
man. Don't worry.
5 days, and Ethan. The ring video was taken 5 days later on the 26th. So, I mean,
5 days, dude.
It's awesome.
Dude, come on. That was us. We did that, Crowder. I'm in your walls, Crowder.
I mean, let's be real.
I'm in your walls,
Obviously,
Steven.
all jokes aside, like, I mean, he is a piece of shit on camera, off camera, as we are seeing from all these reports. And like, he probably was abusive to her from the jump. I mean, I think like he's the kind of dude that like, I mean, he's so fucking bad that it is literally just abuse to have to be around Steven Crowder. You know what I mean? So, you know, in the lightest form, even his appearance and the fact that you have to be around him is like abusive in general. But he was certainly awful outside of the impact of the debate itself.
Whatever this is the Leprechaun said this. Whatever he has and whatever he's going through, I think he was bullied at some point, but now he's the bully and doesn't realize. The Leprechaun detailed how Crowder installed a Dave Don't Talk button. Which, to be fair, Dave, I think anyone would need a button for that with you. I mean,
I like the insecurity that Steven Crowder has, that he's like worried that his like co-host is gonna outshine him though. Like he has to have the get the last word button. We have a button in this studio.
Yeah, this
the opposite.
one.
It's the stop Ethan.
I know. Yeah, we made that joke. This literally is to remove me from the conversation. But perhaps the most bizarre incident came after Crowder, who was scheduled to miss a show, signed off on comedian Matt McLaury to fill in with the Leprechaun. When Crowder's assistant later said no to McLaury's appearance with the Leprechaun, they asked Crowder about it. The conservative personality unleashed on his co-host. He told me he owns me, was venomous. I saw a different person than I had heard rumors about. Leprechaun, you were next to him when he reenacted George Floyd's murder. Was that?
Yeah, it's so venomous.
Was
like,
that
part was great
cool?
because it was racist.
That was fun, right?
That was fun times because it was white supremacists, and we liked that. But when he like made me the victim of his like superiority complex, then I was like, wow, it's shocking. The rest of it is about like the deal that he threw aside, the $50 million one, and then now he's at Rumble. I'm sure he got the bag from Rumble too, but like probably not to the same degree as he would have from the Daily Wire. But now, looking at this toxic work environment that he was responsible for, I wish he was working at the Daily Wire because the Daily Wire is like pretty libbed up in their on the back end. Like they are very much like a tech media company. Yeah. So they probably wouldn't have put up with that kind of shit.
Oh, they're fucking so glad that he didn't take that deal right now.
Yeah.
They are like, woo, that guy was almost in our office every day.
Yeah, they dodged a fucking bullet there.
How do you think Ben Shapiro? I mean, I'd like to see Ben's face when Crowder greets him with his dick out. You know?
Yeah, there's a point here where he's talking about how he's like, oh, I did this for like up and coming conservative talent. Dave Landau and other staffers also corroborated on this, where they laughed about it. We all laughed when he said stuff like, he cares about up-and-coming conservative content creators. If you were funny or talented, he squashed you, said a source. One former employee said they weren't doing the sketches they wanted to do, so they teamed up with Landau to create a sketch comedy pilot released last December. I'm sure that's a fucking bundle of laughs, too. I mean, these guys are all so talented. I'm so worried that Steven Crowder was able to, not harness that creative energy and tamper it and stop it in some way. Steven freaked out and threatened to fire people over it. It was viewed as a mutiny, said the ex-employee. Another source noted it was made on their own time with their own equipment and did not use company resources. Dave was told, this is your fault. We have to fire them now. Eventually, the original source said Crowder backed down. In April, Landau announced he left the company and is going to the Blaze. This doesn't seem like someone who's trying to build up content creators.
So insecure, my God. It's like, dude.
Yeah. And the public, many blame this public unraveling on his habit of purging anyone who challenges him. These terrible ideas and moves have always been in his nature, but over time he has surrounded himself with only yes men and his family who works for him. Don't tell him otherwise, said an ex-staffer, adding, there is no one there to hold him to account.